single museum.
I don't want to be the only one walking that.
ceremony will begin in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Everyone, please stand for the presentation of colors and the playing of our national anthem.
Ready, two. Ready, two. Right, feet. Forward, halt.
I am honored to present you with the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission Law Enforcement Division's 61st Basic Academy.
Ready, face. Take seats.
Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and most importantly, each member of the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission's Law Enforcement Division 61st Basic Academy. It is an honor to stand here before you today and to celebrate this significant milestone. My name is Darby Enoch, and I'm the Training Director for the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission Law Enforcement Division. Over the past 7.5 months, I've had the honor and the privilege of facilitating and coordinating the training that these new North Carolina Wildlife Law Enforcement officers have received. I want to thank everyone present for attending this special event and for supporting our new wildlife officers as they begin their careers in conservation law enforcement. I want to thank our distinguished guests in attendance, including elected officials, sheriffs, commissioners, partnering agencies, fellow law enforcement officers, and our current and retired North Carolina Wildlife Law Enforcement officers. A special thank you to Hannah and Lieutenant Orr for putting everything together behind the scenes. I want to extend a special thanks to the San Marcan Training Academy personnel, because none of this would have been possible without their dedication and support. Thank you to First Baptist Pinehurst for hosting this ceremony and for your continuous support. I would like to personally thank everyone who has assisted and supported each officer on their journey to becoming a North Carolina wildlife officer. There are too many to list, but each of you have had a valuable impact on these officers, and for that, we are forever grateful. Finally, to every instructor and wildlife officer who has assisted with the 61st Basic Academy, thank you for your passion, your dedication, and commitment to providing the best possible training for our officers. We cannot thank you all enough for your support, but I can promise that each of you has had a lasting influence and impact on every one of these officers through your instruction and your mentorship. Today we gather to celebrate the culmination of the past 7 months of hard work, sacrifice, and unwavering dedication. Completing this training and participating in this ceremony is only the beginning of a new chapter in each of your lives, one where you will serve as a protector of North Carolina's wildlife resources and protectors of all North Carolinians and visitors across this great state. At this time, I want to introduce the special guests that we have today who are here seated on stage. Before us, we have Executive Director Kyle Briggs, Honorable Judge J. Carlton Cole, Colonel Benjamin Meyer, Major Philip Lucas, Major Chad Arnold, Captain Brandon Jones, Sergeant Kyle Young, Sergeant Garrett Gooch, and of course our musicians, the members of the Munson family. Jason Munson is a North Carolina wildlife officer, and we are honored to have his family here with us today to perform for us. Thank you to his family, his wife Talene, and their children Justice, Max, Liberty, Aurora, and Freedom. We are privileged to have had them perform here before us today. Lastly, I would like to personally thank each of you here in attendance for being here this morning to honor our officers for their hard work and their achievements. At this time, I'd like to ask Sergeant Kyle Young to come up and deliver the invocation.
Good morning. I'd like to thank each of you for being here this morning to help us celebrate the accomplishments of our newest wildlife law enforcement officers. As I look across the crowd, I see a lot of smiling faces of the family and friends and loved ones, and of course some pretty eager and anxious faces of the wildlife officers from the 61st Wildlife Academy. Each person here is extremely proud of you, and we're looking forward to seeing where the next step in your life and career will lead you. I know each of you are thrilled to be finished with the basic school, as I'm pretty sure the last 7 months probably felt like they would never end. Thank you to all the family members in particular who sacrificed the additional time, effort, and energy to support these officers as they were at the academy in Samarkand. We understand many of you were juggling work, parenting, and maintaining a household while your loved ones were away. We are grateful to all of you for that sacrifice. So today, let's take time, slow down, and enjoy the moment. Each of you have earned it. I'd like to read a couple verses this morning from Genesis. Genesis 1:20 through 21 says, "Let the water teem with living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky. So God created the great creatures of the sea, and every living thing with which the water teems, and that moves about in it, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind, and God saw that it was good." Genesis 1:26 says, "Then God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." Genesis 2:15 says, "And the Lord God took the man, Adam, and he put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and to guard and to keep it." So when God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden, he assigned him with the sacred duty of being the first protector of wild things. He was responsible for guarding and protecting his creation. In essence, Adam was the first game warden. You all have chosen to pursue a career in which you are the frontline defenders of creation. You have chosen a noble calling to protect and conserve wildlife resources and their habitat, which are unable to protect themselves. Additionally, as a state law enforcement officer, you are now tasked with providing public safety for the people within our great state. It's both an honor and a great responsibility to ensure the safety of the citizens of this state and to protect the natural resources in it. Do the right thing. It's easy just to say that, right? Just do the right thing. But what does it actually mean? In this field, it means doing what is best according to the law, doing what's best for the suspect, what's best for the victim, what's best for the court system, for the agency, and for anyone else who may be affected by your decision. That responsibility now lies with each of you. Making the right decision requires a conscious, ongoing effort. And when you don't get it exactly right, it's up to us to be willing to take responsibility and correct our actions. Life isn't always black and white, but I think we all understand there's always right and wrong. The right choice definitely is not always clear, but everyone in here would probably agree wrong choices usually stand out. One more verse I'd like to read this morning is 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of power and self-control." Remember this verse, take it with you throughout your career. No matter what officer you speak with in this room, you could ask any officer in that balcony. I'm sure they're going to tell you that they've all experienced a moment of fear or anxiety while working as a state law enforcement officer. In those moments, remember this verse. Remember that God created you with the spirit of love, power, and self-control. You'll need to use the spirit of love when you're exercising empathy towards victims. You're going to need to use the spirit of power when facing dangerous law enforcement scenarios. You're going to need to use the spirit of self-control while dealing with suspects or bystanders who simply seek to agitate you for the sake of social media. You've already seen some of those posts on Facebook this morning, it looks like. So remember, in this job, you are going to see the best of people, and you're going to see the absolute worst of people. But just remember, it's never us against them. So whatever happens, always be safe, take precautions, but never lose your compassion for the people that you deal with. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I thank you for carrying each one safely here today. I thank you for this time of fellowship, to celebrate these new officers' accomplishments. Thank you for being with them through this part of their journey, and I ask that you put a hedge of protection around them as they move forward. Please guide them in every aspect of their lives, Lord. Put the right people in their paths along the way and keep them safe. Most of all, please help them feel the peace that surpasses all understanding and only comes from you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, at this time, we're going to give out some special presentations from the Academy. So I would ask Captain Brad Stoop to please come forward and give a special presentation.
Good morning. The 61st school was a little different than several in the past, as there was a new curriculum for basic law enforcement training this year. These recruits endured over 100 hours of firearms training throughout the entire school. That's a long time, without a doubt. But they persevered through it all, did very well throughout the entire process. They endured rain, sleet, actual snow on the range, black flag from 105-degree temperatures on the range. They persevered through it all to make it to the day. As always, it's a tight race. Fortunately, we get good shooters when we select these applicants. So it's decided, once again, by 1/10 of a point. I would like to present this award for Top Gun to Mr. Trey Huffman. We'll do it this way. You got to get a picture. That's right. I got you.
All right, next presentation, I would like to ask Sergeant Parks Moss to please come up.
Morning. So to kind of go off the Captain Stoop, being the driver, training, curriculum ability change as well. Not quite 100 hours. We had 48 hours driver's training, which we had to get all in 1 week at a new location that we weren't used to. This school this year did an excellent job, worked as a team, stuck together, really pushed each other to do better, encouraged each other, cheered each other on. So they just did probably one of the better schools we've had in a while, especially when it comes to teamwork. So what we do for the top driver, there's 7 different driving courses that they're graded on. So we take the total average of the 7 driving courses along with the state test, and then the best average gets the top driver award. So for the 61st school, I would like to present the top driving award to Nicholas Holler. Oh, no, sorry.
I'll take it over there.
Where are we at?
Next, I'm going to ask Captain Brandon Jones to give an overview of the 61st Basic Academy curriculum and also a special presentation.
Yeah, good morning. Appreciate everybody coming out this morning to celebrate these new officers. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So looking at the 61st Academy, this year was a little different, as we talked about before. So they started on January 6th, and so with this year we had a traditional program, which is more our BLET non-sworn officers, and then we included our accelerated program, which was sworn officers. So The non-sworn, they completed, our traditional program completed basic law enforcement training, BLET, and then, and the wildlife-specific training. And then our accelerated portion, they went out to the field, did field training, they came back and did wildlife-specific training with the traditional program. So it was new for us. I appreciate y'all being patient with us, and like I say, we learned some things along the way, but ultimately, you know, the biggest thing is y'all made it here today. So looking at the academy, you know, the academy itself consisted of approximately 57 courses and topics. So it totaled 1,456 hours of classroom and practical exercises, with 1,074 hours of that being in BLET, the basic law enforcement training, and then 382 hours of being the wildlife-specific training. So the students received instruction in the fundamentals of law and procedure, which covers a wide range of laws, including general crime, traffic offenses, alcohol, drug laws, juvenile law, and of course, hunting, fishing, boating, and trapping laws. So there's a lot going on. They've also received training in practical exercises such as driver's training, firearms, compliance and control tactics, conducting traffic stops, patrol techniques, game warden tactics, and many others. So I think it's easy to say, you know, or I think it's easy to say for anyone to see that each of you have undergone an extensive training, which has challenged you both mentally and physically. So I think we could all agree on that. So I dare say at times that some of you hurt physically, which affected you mentally, and you hurt mentally, which at times affected your physical abilities. So either way, each of you have not given up and earned your way to be here today. And I'll just say from what little bit I've seen, I'll just say there was a little bit of stress at test time. So we'll just leave it at that. So this year, we'd like to recognize the recruit with the highest GPA during the 61st Academy. So the overall class average was an 87, and the separation from 1 and 2 was less, or the first and second student was less than a point. So the highest overall GPA was a 91.7. So with that said, I'd like Hayden Webb to come up and receive the Academic Achievement Award for the 61st North Carolina Wildlife Basic Academy. Thank you. Yes, sir. Here you go. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
The next presentation that I will be given by the Assistant Training Director, Sergeant Garrett Gooch. And I just want to take a quick second and recognize Sergeant Gooch's hard work, his dedication. He put many long nights, early mornings, and made many sacrifices throughout this academy. And there's no way that the recruits would have been trained to the extent that they were without him. So I just want to thank Garrett for being a great teammate, one that everybody should strive to be and needs. So Garrett, if you would come up and give the special presentation.
Thank you. Good morning. To the 61st Wildlife Law Enforcement Basic Academy. As you close this chapter of your training and begin your journey as a wildlife law enforcement officers, I want to emphasize one thing. Never lose sight of the importance of physical training or fitness. It is not just about strength or endurance. It's about safety and resilience and mental clarity. Staying physically prepared will protect you in the field and keep your mind sharp throughout your career. Physical fitness is essential to successful operating in the wide range of environments you'll face. From the North Carolina's woodlands to its waterways and everything in between. Even on the busiest days, a little effort is better than none at all. Stay determined, remain focused, and push yourself to go the extra mile, especially when it feels difficult. That mindset will carry you far, both professionally and personally. Throughout your time at the Academy, physical training has played a vital role, not only building your strength but endurance, but also reinforcing discipline and mental toughness. From day one, fitness was priority. Would you agree? It began with the PT assessment during the hiring process and continued on day one of the Academy, where Marshall Development introduced each of you to a series of fundamental physical exercises. Needless to say, the recruits became very proficient in these exercises over time. Over the course of the Academy, physical training took place 4 to 5 mornings each week, beginning at 5 a.m., recruits completed 4 PT assessments, which included a 1.5 mile run, a 300-meter sprint, a vertical jump, max bench press, and maximum repetitions of push-ups, sit-ups in 1 minute. You also completed the police officer's physical abilities test, known as the POPAT, and undertook a 5-mile run with a 45-minute time limit. During this academy, one recruit consistently stood out in physical training. From the initial hiring process through the final day of PT, this individual demonstrated impressive athleticism, discipline, and leadership. This recruit averaged a 94 across all PT assessments and completed the 5-mile run in 42 minutes and 10 seconds with all of us. And let me add, this year's 5-mile run was unlike any other. All members of the 61st ran together, except for one who happened to be a collegiate level runner. While the team ran as one, this standout recruit carried a football-sized JBL speaker the entire way, keeping the morale high with a playlist of energizing jams. Throughout the academy, the recruit remained humble, led by example, embodying the true spirit of teamwork, perseverance, and professionalism. It is my honor to present the 61st Wildlife Law Enforcement Basic Academy Physical Fitness Award to Officer Jacob "Just Jake" Stewart. Congratulations, Officer Stewart.
All right, so today we're gathering to honor another individual whose journey through the Basic Academy has exemplified integrity, confidence, humility, qualities that are essential to being an effective leader. So leadership can be defined as the ability to influence a team towards one common goal. In the past 7 months, the 23 officers before us have transformed from complete strangers into a tight-knit group, united by the shared purpose of serving as North Carolina Wildlife Law Enforcement officers. This class has faced many adversities throughout their training, including but certainly not limited to navigating a brand new basic law enforcement training curriculum, adjusting back and forth into some training facilities, adapting to dynamic changes, and having to transition from one program, splitting off into 2 parallel programs, and then merging back together into one program. And if that wasn't enough, they unified into one program, and then the process was not without any challenges. Yet through it all, one thing became clear. Overcoming these adversities was only possible through clear guidance and consistent communication. The resilience and adaptability shown throughout this journey reflect the true essence of teamwork and leadership. Along this challenging path, each officer completed self and peer evaluations, a testament to their humility and their accountability. Throughout these evaluations, one individual consistently distinguished himself. Chosen by his peers for his leadership, and this individual stood out not only for his guidance, but also his ability to unify the class. From the very beginning, dedication and presence as a leader was undeniable. This earned him the role to be chosen as the class leader, a responsibility that he carried out with exceptional dignity and respect. Today, it is with great pride that we present Wildlife Officer Charles Peyton Owens with the North Carolina Wildlife 61st Basic Academy Leadership Award. His outstanding leadership has helped shape his class and continues to set a high bar for our future officers. Please join me in congratulating Officer Owens on this well-deserved recognition. No candy. All right, at this time, I would like to introduce Executive Director Kyle Briggs and ask him to deliver his remarks to the class.
Good morning. Welcome, Class 61, families, friends, commissioners, staff, and other honored guests. I am Kyle Briggs. I'm the Executive Director for the Wildlife Commission, and I have the distinct privilege of being able to provide a few comments today on this momentous occasion. It seems like only yesterday I was speaking to you at the beginning of your school, and now here we are as you're preparing to go to the field, training for the first time, or for some of you to complete your field training. As you move to that step, I want to plant a couple of thoughts in your minds. First, trust yourselves. Trust your training, trust your training officers, your supervisors, and each other. You have the knowledge, skills, and abilities you need to do your job and to do it well. These skills are only going to improve over time. Be professional. You are going to encounter people who are not happy to see you. People who may be rude or belligerent. Remember, this job is not personal. Don't treat people the way you want to be treated. Treat them the way you want your mother to be treated. Be humble. We're all human, and you will make mistakes. That's okay. Take ownership of your mistakes and move forward. It is how we learn from our mistakes that make us better. Be curious. Most people are going to look to you to be the expert in all things wildlife. There is no way you can know it all. But be open to learning. I learn something new every single day. Use your resources. There are 700 full-time employees in our agency, and every one of them has a vast amount of knowledge about wildlife and more than willing to share them with you. Don't be afraid to ask why. Why we do things is important, and understanding that reasoning helps us to achieve our common goals. And finally, don't neglect your family. Family comes first. There are going to be times when your job keeps you away from an event or activity that you're not going to be able to be with your family during. So make sure that when you are with them, to be present and enjoy them. And so, Class 61, congratulations. I think I speak for everyone here and all of us with the commission. We cannot wait to see what all you accomplish. Thank you.
We will now present the certificate and badges. William Branham. Jason Brown. Cody Davis. Michael Fussell. Ethan Hales. Skylar Hall. Nicholas Holler. Trey Huffman. Ethan Martin. Joshua Myers. Georgia Nines. Charles Owens. Melinda Parrish. Lee Perry. Miguel Sanchez. Brittany Sandifer. Tyler Schlegel. Colin Smith. Jacob Stewart. Jared Tilson. Carson Walker. Hayden Webb. William Wolf.
At this time, I'm going to ask Major Arnold to please come up and welcome and introduce the Honorable Judge J. Carlton Cole to administer these new wildlife officers' oath of office. Major Arnold.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to introduce
North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commissioner and the Honorable Superior Court Judge J. Carlton Cole. Commissioner Cole is from Hertford, North Carolina. He completed his undergraduate degree in mathematics from Livingstone College in Salisbury. He completed his master's degree in criminal justice at Long Island University in Brooklyn, New York. He completed his Juris Doctorate from North Carolina Central in Durham, North Carolina. He served as a U.S. federal agent with the U.S. Postal Service for 10 years as an inspector. He practiced law for 7 years in eastern North Carolina. He was selected as district court judge in 1994 and served for 15 years. He was elected in 2009 as Superior Court judge and served for 12 years. Appointed in 2021 by Governor Cooper to serve as commissioner for the NCWRC, Commissioner Cole has been married to his wife Janice for 42 years. They have 2 daughters, both of whom are attorneys, and 1 granddaughter. It is my honor to introduce to you His Honor, North Carolina Wildlife Commissioner and Superior Court Judge J. Carlton Cole.
Good morning, and it is an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to be standing here before you in such an auspicious occasion with these graduates who've gone through such rigorous training to become wildlife officers. Before I get started, though, I need to thank my ride, Brad Stoop, Captain Brad Stoop, who's sitting back there. It's a long ride up here from Hertford, North Carolina. And also, this beautiful family, the musicians, the mom, and the children. I enjoy coming here every year to listen to you all. And my fellow commissioners and the staff at the Wildlife Resources Commission. You've done it. And my last remark to you is remember that you're not alone on this journey, that you've had many people to go before you, and do not be afraid to seek advice. And there is nothing stupid out there. Ask someone if you don't understand. At this time, please stand. No. Not you.
Ready, 2. Ready, stand. Ready, stand.
I, please state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and maintain the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer, so help me God. I do. I, please state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will be alert and vigilant to enforce the criminal laws of this state, that I will not be influenced in any manner or account of personal bias or prejudice, that I will faithfully discharge or impartially execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer according to the best of my skills and abilities and judgment, so help me God. I do. At this time, I would like to just congratulate each one of you for a job well done. Congratulations and may God speed. Thank you.
Take seats. Ready, 2.
I would like to introduce the class representative to deliver a response on behalf of the 61st Basic Academy. It is my pleasure to introduce North Carolina Wildlife Officer Charles Owens.
I got written in here, good morning, but we've heard that a lot, so I'm going to switch it to good afternoon. It is an honor and a privilege to stand here today, surrounded by such amazing people. I have 3 things I'd like to share with you. First, a message from our class to our families and friends. Second, something I want everyone to know about my classmates. And third, a message to my classmates, the 61st. So, to all of you here in support of us today, thank you. I hope it's said 1,000 times today because it truly can't be said enough. It's not easy to send your partner, your child, your brother or sister off every week for 6 months. It's not easy to take care of all the little things you used to do together, now by yourself. The list of struggles goes on, but the struggles never outweighed your love, your commitment, or your support. You stood by us through it all. We owe you more than words can say, and we must never take that for granted. This career will be a huge part of our lives, but we must never forget who we do it for and who's waiting for us when we come home. Second, something you should know about these new officers. Now, I'll be honest, this part could have gone in a lot of directions. Some would have been funny, others maybe a little embarrassing, but I chose to focus on what's most important and what makes me proud to call these officers my brothers and sisters. We have pilots, college athletes, Alaskan guides, and even in American Idol. We're different in more ways than we are alike, but something brought us together and made us a team. It wasn't the push-ups, the sweat, or even the hunting and fishing. It was the calling to serve, the belief of selflessness. That's what united us, and that's what kept us from giving up. Before you now are 23 officers who are ready to do what's right for anyone in this room, this state, and this country. They're fine examples of professionalism, bravery, toughness, and loyalty. They're fine examples of a game warden. And now finally, to my classmates, thank you for trusting me. Serving as your class leader has been one of the greatest and most humbling experiences of my life. I know I made my fair share of mistakes, like stripping our boots, but we got here together, and that's because of all of y'all's hard work. You've taught me just as much as any of our instructors or lessons plans. It's been a long 7 months. We've covered so much that it's hard to keep track. Some topics were a little dry, others were unforgettable, like firearms and boating, sneaking through the woods, game and fish law, and then there's everything in between, like courtroom bailiff duties, which we found that Brown is exceptionally good at. But every single lesson had a purpose. Every one of them gave us the foundation we need to succeed in the field. Of all those lessons, there's one I hope you always carry with you. It'll apply to every aspect of your life. Think back to those early weeks. We were given what felt like impossible tasks, tight deadlines, high expectations, endless physical and mental challenges. The standards seemed to be absolute perfection. And Officer Springs told us this: if you chase perfection, you just might reach excellence. And so we chased it in our fitness, in our uniforms, and every task and assignment. We weren't perfect, and no one truly expected us to be. The real expectation was always excellence, and by that measure, we absolutely crushed it. We succeeded because we raised the bar. We pushed ourselves. We didn't give up, even when we failed. That's how you achieve greatness. We've come a long way since January 6th, and I couldn't be more proud of this class. And I know this is the only beginning of what will be long, meaningful careers for all of us. But the work isn't done. I challenge each of you, keep chasing perfection. Do that, and I know you'll be excellent men and women, excellent officers, and excellent leaders in your communities. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Michael Fussell. Want to recognize Colonel Meyer. If you'd stand up for me, sir. 30 years of dedication, sacrificing time away from family. You've been here, you've shown exemplary of leadership. Told us from day one the expectations, and I know that you're going out in November to chase a new chapter in life. So the 61st, we wanted to honor you with the canvasback decoy on your retirement. Also, I'd like to ask Lieutenant Enoch, Sergeant Gooch, if y'all would stand up for us as well. Iron sharpens iron. 61st, we did it. Day one, PT may not have been the greatest, but guess what? We've made it through. So, Officer Springs gave us a challenge. We accepted it. We pushed forward. We've lost some, but we gained a new family. So, with those who have led the way, I'd like to honor Lieutenant Enoch, Sergeant Gooch with the decoys.
Colonel Ben Meyer, would you please come up and give your final comments and charge of office?
So I'm just going to assume already I said good morning. I think I counted 6 times. Like the folks before me, and I know you politely nodded even though it's barely morning at this point. So for some of you. So instead, I'll say this to the 61st. Congratulations. And I truly mean it. You made it, and even more impressive than that, you're here awake, you're on time, and your patches are straight. So that's a win, and that's no easy task. But a lot of what I'm going to say to y'all today, I'm going to say to your family as well. So I want y'all to hear me, because you might not hear this again the entire time the officer you love is going to be working for us. And you're going to hear this because I said a lot of this to y'all on the first day of the basic school, the very first day, because I've seen a few of them. And it's not that you're going to recall every detail because you had a little added stress during that time, if y'all remember. And it seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? January 6th. Because it kind of was. That was 7 months, right? But from my experience in my career, I've learned sometimes you need to be reminded of the things we're told. And there's a lot of things, I'm speaking of myself, that I wish I realized a lot sooner. So now at the end, I hope y'all can see some of the truth and some of the wisdom and some of the value as you go forward in your career. And so what some of these things are the expectations of y'all. Expectations that we laid out from the beginning, that I think, Mr. Owens, you did a great job of speaking on. You truly did. Expectations from us, but of you as well, of your future, your happiness, and your contentment in your career. So as your training and leadership team, as you have seen over the past 7 months, here is what I pledge and promise to you and what I can do for you. Number one, we will give you the best of ourselves every day. You will get that. We will give you everything in our power to create an environment where you can succeed in your career and be successful. We will provide you as many opportunities as we can to help you develop personally and professionally. We will support you in every way, shape, or form until we can't. And I hope, because this is the career you've chosen, among all of us, if the time ever comes, we'll defend each other to the death with everything we have. And that's what I pledge to you and to your families. Here's what I pledge to you. I've done everything in my power that I can to make the officer you love come home every day alive. That's the greatest responsibility I have in this role. And I hope over the last 7 months y'all have seen this. So here's what I can't do for you. Here's what I can't do for you. You learn pretty dang quick. We can't do push-ups for you. We can't do flutter kicks. We can't shine your shoes. But we can make you good at them. And I think you are. Y'all, we cannot make this your dream job. We can't do it. That's on you. We cannot hand you success. Y'all are going to have to go earn it. That's on you. We can't give you self-motivation, self-discipline, or any initiative. Only you can do that. And we cannot make you happy or content. We can't do it.
That's why it's called a pursuit of happiness. And there's no guarantee. And in this pursuit, I'm going to echo one thing the director said. There's few certainties in life. There's few certainties in life. But here's one I can assure you of. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up. You're going to fail. Look, y'all, I've had my fair share. That's why I can speak on this. Own it. Own it. Learn from it. Don't repeat it. But we still move forward. We still move forward. Part of your legacy is not all the accolades and successes you had. It's when you mess up, what are you going to do next? Because that's what people are going to remember. And as we move forward, here's the mindset I want y'all to have. I want you to have the mindset of, what do I get to do today, not what do I have to do today? Because if you didn't think that way, you would not be here. Y'all are in a career where the hardest decision you make every day is when you go to the end of your driveway and you figure out, do I want to go right or left? It's a pretty good job. And one final thing, if you remember this, that I said to y'all, we have 33, 34 at the beginning. There's 23 today. 23. A lot of people say, all I've ever wanted to do was be a game warden. You remember what I said? I said, today, y'all, we'll find out. We'll find out. So I guess this means we have, because here's where it starts. Today is where it begins. And at the end of the day, some things I learned, y'all, dreams are free, but the journey ain't. You got 30 years to do it. You have to be able and willing to pay the price and put in the work for this happiness, because it's not guaranteed. Because nobody else is going to do it. And here's another thing, if y'all hadn't found out, let me tell you right now. Life ain't fair. It's not fair. What I have learned for the past 30 years, that every day I wake up, this world owes me absolutely nothing. Nothing. I owe the world everything. Every day. That's what I've learned. But now you're part of a team and a family. And Mr. Owens, you talked about this, a team. Not many people really know what that is. They don't know. Can't do it alone. And oftentimes in this job, you are. But a lot of times, one is too small of a number to achieve greatness. Y'all have seen that over the past 7 months. Y'all have seen it. But you're part of a team with many divisions. Even our commissioners, who get paid absolutely nothing to do their job, support you 100%. That's the team you're part of. We have attorneys, biologists, IT, finance, inland fisheries, everybody doing that job with the same mission. If it can't be done without us, it's our job. But y'all are law enforcement. But guess what that means? If you wear a badge and a gun and take people to jail, you're the police. Just know that. Just know that. But look, y'all are the only ones with a badge and a gun that's going to do the work y'all are entering into. Enforcing hunting, fishing, and boating and trapping law, and protecting the public while you're doing it. We're supported by so many staff that I can't even begin to mention them all. I truly can't. Others may try to do your job, but nobody's going to do it with the passion and dedication y'all have. That defines your team. This is the team y'all chose to be part of. But we're also a family. And family, for all the spouses, the kids, the parents, the grandparents here today, we officially adopt you as well. So welcome to the family. And let me tell y'all, your family will be your support, your motivation, your inspiration when nobody else is there, in good times and bad, in ups and downs. When you suffer, we suffer. When you succeed, we're going to celebrate with you. We're going to celebrate with you. That's who we are. And your family's going to see the good and the bad and the ugly, and they're going to listen to everything y'all say. They're the ones that's going to be there. And I'm going to echo what the director said. Do not take them for granted or neglect them. If I could go to the legislature and make this a general statute, I would. But I can't. That's on you. At the end of the day, your family's all you got. Remember that. So I'm going to give you the oath you just took, the charge of your office you just took.
And y'all, this is going to be the last thing I say to you. And like you said, I think one of them said, in 30 years, you won't probably won't even remember my name, but you better remember what I'm getting ready to say. I really want y'all to think about the oath y'all just took and the great responsibility and the weight that it conveys. The oath that y'all were just issued was issued by a judge. But that judge is also a hunter and angler, one of our commissioners, a prior law enforcement, a fellow law enforcement officer, a judicial official that's presided over numerous wildlife cases. But most importantly, he's a proud member of this family. And he supports us. This oath, and there was an order to it. I don't know. I hope y'all listened while he read it. This oath requires each of you to first and foremost uphold the Constitution and laws of the United States of America. And second, the Constitution and laws of North Carolina. That's your oath, okay? And you do this while you faithfully discharge your duties as a law enforcement officer to the best of your ability and judgment. What a great duty that is. It says nothing about being a game warden. That's your oath. The badge in this oath carry great weight. It's like Judge said, don't let it outweigh you. But there's a reason for that order today in that oath, and I really want you to think about it. So as proud as you are, because I am too, I love this badge and diamond. And as proud of each and every one of you are for reaching this milestone and becoming a wildlife officer, don't ever forget that before you are a law enforcement officer, you are a citizen of the United States of America. In my opinion, the greatest country in the world in the history of time. I might be a little biased though. Next, you're a citizen of the greatest of these United States. Again, I might be a little biased. And finally, you are a North Carolina wildlife law enforcement officer. Remember this as you interact with the public, with sportsmen, the sportsmen and women of the state, how you treat them, and the great impact you have on them. Before anything else, we're United States citizens, not just law enforcement officers. And that oath that you just took does not empower government, but it limits it. And we must protect the citizens, listen to me, citizens like me and you from people like me and you. Okay? Even as we serve them. Even as we serve them. This is not a contradiction. It's the standard by which we operate and the freedoms we protect. That's the oath you just took. So today you're assigned this badge. Today you're assigned the badge that you've worked so hard for over the past 7 months for your exclusive use as long as you keep this oath. So remember what you do and how you do it, and as a face of the agency, who you represent. And we kind of already talked about this, but look around. You represent every single person in this room. Not just the patch and the badge, but only the officers that come before you and the ones that will come after you. But you also represent your family who are here celebrating with you today. And for a lot of you, the most important thing is your last name. That's what you're representing. So protect what you've earned. So I hope you'll come to recognize this more every single day. I hope y'all truly do. And experience the impact and influence you have over the public in conserving our wildlife resources. And I think, Mr. Owens, what you just said, not many people are used to an environment where excellence is expected. That's the culture y'all belong to now. Y'all asked for it. So here's all I'm going to ask of y'all. Here's all I'm going to ask. Show up every day with your whole self. Remembering everything you've been taught. Remember this oath that you took and the integrity it requires to uphold it. Give all you got and have each other's back. Y'all, that's all I'm going to ask. I think that's pretty simple. You are valued. You are not hired help. You are a part of a team and part of a family. So each of you has worked hard to get to this point. So congratulations. I wish I could say I will be working with you a long time in the future, but I'm not. But I will be excited to follow your career and hear of your future success. So welcome to the family. Thank you.
Almost to the end. All right, we gather here today to celebrate a remarkable group of individuals, the 61st Basic Academy. But let us first take a moment to recognize the unwavering support and love of the family, the friends, and the loved ones who have stood beside each of these graduates. Today is not just about the 23 graduates sitting before us, it's about their families and support systems who have helped them reach this point, despite the challenges, the sacrifices, and the difficult moments along the way. The 61st Academy began with 34 aspiring wildlife officer recruits. Today, only 23 stand before us, having completed this rigorous journey. Above the hallway in our new Wildlife Training Center is the Bible verse, Matthew 22:14, "For many are called, but few are chosen." Jesus' words here refer to accepting God's invitation and receiving salvation, but I believe these words also echo a comparable path to becoming a game warden. As many aspire to this profession, often call it their dream job, but few actually pursue it, and even fewer are chosen. And there's a fraction of a percent that make it to this day and earn the honor of fulfilling their calling to serve the citizens of North Carolina and to protect our state's wildlife resources. Today we celebrate not just the completion of this law enforcement academy, but also to recognize the journey that each of you are getting ready to embark on. So I ask each of you, what does being a North Carolina wildlife officer or game warden mean? It means now that you are part of something much bigger than yourselves. You're part of a proud legacy of protectors who came before you, and you're responsible for paving the way for the ones to follow. It means that you are stewards of our state's wildlife resources, and that you will uphold the Constitution and stand against those who intend to exploit and damage our resources. Being a wildlife officer requires you to be a person of integrity, upholding professionalism, regardless of the situation in which you find yourself. It's about enforcing laws and regulations fairly and impartially, while showing compassion and dedication to everyone that you serve. It's also about earning the trust of your colleagues and always supporting the brothers and sisters by your side. Above all, it's about being a beacon of hope for the future generations, ensuring that they too can experience the same opportunities and the wonders that this state has to offer. Your passion and your commitment to safeguarding our wildlife resources and protecting the citizens of this state are nothing short of inspiring. We learned a little bit about the history this week of the Wildlife Commission. We talked about Thomas Gilbert Pearson, who was a champion of conservation and the founder of the NC Audubon Society in 1902. And he may have expressed the need for wildlife protectors best. He said we must labor joyously and without stint to form a line of defense, best we may, between the wild creatures and the greed of thoughtless man. Today, you are now that line of defense. Being a game warden is a noble calling. It's one that demands long hours, an ever-changing work schedule, physical exertion, and potentially the willingness to put your life on the line for a greater purpose. It requires courage, resilience, and an unyielding commitment to being a selfless servant in your communities. I need you to remember this. You're not alone. You are now part of a distinguished community, a family of wildlife officers who have dedicated their lives to protecting the public and conserving our resources. In the coming days, months, years, I promise you, you're going to face adversity. Things won't always go as planned. You'll sit through long, grueling hours. You'll deal with the exhaustion that comes with life that demands your attention. Your equipment will fail, you'll miss your target, and I promise you, you'll make mistakes. When those moments come, and remember that they will, I need you to remember your class motto, good. This mantra is a powerful reminder to control your mindset and your response anytime you're faced with adversity. Had to sit in the freezing rain? Good. You built character. Missed the poacher this time? Good. I'll be better prepared next time. Lost a case or made a mistake? Good. You're learning valuable lessons. Didn't get the assignment or the promotion that you wanted? Good. You have more time to develop and grow. This mindset is not about embracing failure, it's about owning challenges, learning from them, and always growing stronger. In this line of work, this mindset is essential. It's not optional. It's a reminder that the road ahead is not always smooth, but each obstacle can be a stepping stone on the path to becoming a better officer, a better protector, and the leader that you're meant to be. As you prepare to step into your new roles, remember that this is a lifelong commitment. I challenge you to lead by example. Show others the power of accountability, dedication, and ethical behavior. In doing so, you will inspire others to follow in your footsteps. As you embark on this new chapter, remember to hold steadfast to the values that brought you where you're at. Integrity, courage, and empathy should be your guiding principles. Approach your work with an open mind, a compassionate heart, and an unwavering commitment to always doing what is right. Let your actions speak louder than your words, and be a selfless leader anywhere you go. Lean on your colleagues for support, guidance, inspiration. Embrace the camaraderie for trying to accomplish and achieve the same goal. Always strive to be the best teammate that you can be. In conclusion, as we stand here today, ready to begin your new career, take a moment and reflect on the incredible significance of this achievement. Embrace the challenges ahead with courage and determination, knowing that you now possess the knowledge, skills, and support to make a difference and overcome any obstacle that you ever encounter. Congratulations, Class 61. I wish you nothing but the best. I'm proud of you. I'll always be here to support you when you need it. I love you. Thank you. At this time, I now present the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission, Law Enforcement Division, officers of the 61st Basic Academy.
Ready, stand. Hold out, peace.
For the final time, officers of the 61st Basic Academy, class dismissed.
Ready, peace. Ready, exit.
This concludes the graduation ceremony. We invite you to meet us next door in the fellowship hall for a reception to celebrate and honor these officers' accomplishments. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your support and your attendance. God bless.